Last week I told you about how story sells, so now let's talk about how to make story work for your business. If we haven't met yet, I'm Katie Hawkins, a video strategist and consultant helping businesses tell brand stories and stand out through proven strategies and streamlined execution. Now, whether you're an online coach or running a small business or just have a side hustle, making story work for your business is easier than you think. And today I'm sharing 5 simple ways to make sure your story is working for you and your business. First, know your audience. Now, I know that you've heard this one before, but it is so important. If you don't know who you're talking to, it's going to be really hard to get them to pay attention. Think about it. If you're walking down a busy sidewalk, you probably hear a lot of people talking, right? But not what they're saying. If someone is talking to you, will you actually hear them? The odds are a lot better if you say their name to get their attention and then talk directly to them. Okay, social media. The sidewalks are going to be very crowded here, so to get your dream client's attention, you have to be able to call them out directly. Hey, you isn't going to cut it anymore. Try entrepreneur, moms of twins, overworked executives ready to take control of your nutrition. You get the idea. Know your audience, get specific, call them out, talk directly to them. Next, have a purpose. Why are you telling the story? Why does your audience need to hear it? Why in any context is always important in storytelling, but especially when it comes to knowing your purpose. Now, if you are just filling up space or trying to stay relevant or be trendy, your stories are going to fall flat. But if you have a purpose and know why you need to tell a specific story, then not only will that purpose help you choose the right story, it will also guide the story decisions that are made and lead your audience to take action. Think about it. If I know I need to sell product A, then my purpose is to tell a story about product A. But I have so many stories to choose from, which one do I use? Well, if I know that my audience values their time, then I know that my story about product A needs to feature how much time it saves. So as I tell my story, I know everything needs to help build up those time-saving elements, from the product itself to all the free time the customer now has thanks to product A. And because I know my purpose is to sell product A, I know my call to action will be for my audience to buy product A, and I can frame it around the theme of saving time. If you don't have a purpose before you start telling your story, it will be much harder for storytelling to work for your business. So always know your why. Next, be vulnerable. Vulnerability means opening yourself up and letting your audience see the real you. This really helps connect your audience to you and your brand, your business, or your product, and makes you very relatable. When you're able to open up and really be authentic, your audience will resonate with that. That way, even if the individual doesn't decide to take action and purchase your product or service, they will likely tell other potential customers about you, essentially marketing for you, simply because they got to know you. This is how true fans are made. They really get to see you and know you. To rise above the noise, you can't say something that they've heard before, though. You have to say something that makes them go, I thought I was the only one. You have to step out, and that is vulnerability. Being vulnerable when creating stories for your audience will definitely not be easy or come naturally the first time that you do it. But thankfully, after practice and repetition, you'll grow more comfortable with opening up. And while I can't promise that everyone will respond positively, I can promise you that your ideal clients will love you even more for opening up and letting them in. It's not always easy, but find ways to open yourself up in the stories that you tell for your business. Next, stay in the action. Don't get stuck in the big picture descriptions. I thought about doing this. I felt like this. I realized. I remembered. The list goes on. Now, while those are okay to use occasionally throughout your story, try staying in the action instead. And by that, I simply mean focus on what is happening right now in your story, because that's what your audience wants to hear anyway. For example, I could say, I felt so nervous on the first day of school that I remember I couldn't even eat my lunch. Instead of that big picture description, let me stay in the action instead. My heart raced. My palms were sweaty. I couldn't stop fidgeting in my seat. As we walked to the cafeteria, my stomach lurched inside me, and at that moment, I knew I would be skipping lunch. Now, these two tell the same story, but the second is much more interesting, right? Because I stayed in the action. When you're telling stories for your business, don't get caught up describing everything for the big picture. Instead, focus on the action, so your audience can experience it right alongside you. Next, keep it simple. You've probably heard this one before too, but I can't say it enough. Keep it simple. Storytelling is all about taking complex ideas and complicated patterns and making sense of it all. So why then would you complicate your story by making it longer than it needs to be? You risk losing your audience's attention and leaving them dazed and confused. Simple is always better. Remember your purpose for your video? This is a great time to revisit that. Go through your story and see if there is anything that doesn't serve that purpose or push your story that direction. If you find anything that doesn't add to it, take it out. People invest in a product or service when they feel something real and when they're crystal clear. It's no different when your audience is listening to your business stories. And it starts with knowing your audience, having a purpose, being vulnerable, staying in the action, and keeping it simple. If you are ready to level up story for your business, I have a free workshop coming up on July 6th. Attract, Connect, and Sell, leveraging the power of story through video for business. I'll be breaking down what makes a good story and how to tell yours using our formula to ensure that you attract, connect, and sell to your dream clients. Plus, there will be a live Q&A after so you can bring all your story questions and get them answered. Sign up with the link below and I will see you on July 6th.